So I got daughters on the way. If the prophecy is correct, then the child shall have to pay for the sins of the father. So I water my tomorrows and kiss my yesterdays and hope this should be okay. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
And welcome to another episode of Marlon vs. Marlon. I'm your boy Marlon.
And I'm your boy Marlon.
Join us as two childhood friends go back and forth, argue, fight, debate, very seldom maybe even agree on everything from sports, pop culture, and everything in between.
All right, today's episode, we're going to cover all of the NFL Week 8 action. We will get into, we're actually going to have a few guests, San Diego's own Lance Hurdle, and also to one of my buddies, Champ. He'll be joining us too as well. So we'll be getting into all of the action. Ravens Steelers, we'll get to that. We'll get into Tua's first start. We'll get on that. I mean, we got Aaron Rodgers and the Packers not looking good against the Vikings. Russ and DK Metcalf, we'll talk about it, see if he's one of the top two receivers in the league right now. So,
we'll get there.
We'll get there. But yeah, we got a ton of stuff to get into. But you know, let's go ahead and start with that Ravens and Steelers game. I mean, it was a game for the Ravens to win for sure. Like they had, I mean, from rushing yards top to bottom, I mean, it was their game. But costly turnovers, and a lot of people are questioning Lamar as if is Lamar gonna be? I mean, we obviously know he's gonna be the future. He's their franchise quarterback, but he's not necessarily a quarterback you'd want to have when you're down or you need to pass to win a game,
or when you need to be in a shootout.
Yeah,
it's not.
And he's only in his third year too, so.
No, and I picked the Steelers to win, so I think that July. we got a Bronco fan in the comments early. What up, Chad?
Go away, Chad.
But yeah, man, I picked the Steelers to win this game. I've been saying this for the longest since we've been doing this podcast that I just don't think that Lamar Jackson is really on the level of a Patrick Mahomes. I know they're going to be compared to each other for their whole careers, both young MVPs and all that good stuff. But as far as making the plays, making the throws, let me say that, not making the plays, because we see him do a lot of stuff. Actually, on that last play of the game, he fumbled trying to make a play with his feet.
And the first play, or on the first drive with that pick six. So
the pick six, I've said he's not the most accurate. Maybe Dez will help him out because he likes those short throws that'll get him some, spread the field out to some wide receivers instead of just throwing it to tight ends and running backs.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I thought this was a Steelers game to lose. Actually, I picked the Steelers in my pick 'em. So
I picked them to win too, and like I've said, I think Steelers are the best team in the league. I know you still disagree with me as you pick the Chiefs, but I just think it was just one of those games where they over 200 yards on the ground, and if it wasn't for 2 fumbles and 2 picks, I mean they would have won. So, but the Steelers, there they are. Their defense didn't look the best. When you got to run offense like the Ravens do, I think it's tough because they can mix it up and spread it up, and you don't know where they're going. And whenever you have a mobile quarterback, a lot of people do compare him to somewhat of Mike Vick, although Vick had more of an arm, more accurate, all that stuff. But the athleticism that the two, Vick and Lamar Jackson, have, I mean.
Carlin, are you talking about me with Jason Garrett? Are you really going to compare the Cowboys season last year to this season without Dak or 5 offensive linemen? Come on, man. You know football better than this. We're not even going to talk about the Eagles today, I hope.
Yeah, I didn't watch that game.
Good, me either.
I went to sleep, so.
But to your point, I do think, if you can look at it from 2 different ways, right? Mm-hmm. You can have a good defense that stops the run and, gives up big plays or whatever, and they bend but don't break. But give me a defense that forces turnovers, because that's how stats can be confusing. Mm-hmm. Because you can give up 100 yards and not force any turnovers and lose a game like this, but you give up 200 yards on the ground, force 4 turnovers, and now you're in a win. You know what I'm saying? So, and costly turnovers in the red zone and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So, I think that the Steelers are probably thinking on their end, even though we gave up 200 yards, we played a great game. The Ravens should be thinking in their locker room, well, if we hold on to the ball, we don't give it away, we win this game. So.
Yeah. And just really with the Steelers using all of their weapons. I mean, we haven't really heard of Juju too much this year, but Claypool found the end zone I think the last game he had just like one catch or something like that, but he found the end zone. And Eric Ebron, we've seen him with the Lions for over the years. I mean, he found the end zone. So it's crazy, man. And honestly, I'm a Mike Tomlin fan. They've always been up and down for the past however many years since they made it back to the Super Bowl. So I mean, we'll see if this year he can actually get him another ring. 'Cause I know Big Ben is flirting with retirement as he is every year. So we'll see if Big Ben can get another one.
His body flirting with retirement more than his mind.
And now he was getting that surgically repaired elbow massaged on the sideline. So we'll see if. I mean, I'm sure he's okay. He's just like Rivers. They fight through injuries and all that stuff. So I had to slap my guy Rivers in there.
They are just alike. They should have been retired 3 years ago, both of them. What we got next, man? That was a good topic.
So we got the Cowboys thing.
The battle of first for last place.
Packers and the Vikings. This one, and we're going to get to my buddy Champ in a second. He's a huge Bears fan, so we'll get into him next after this when we get into the Bears and the Saints. But with the Packers and the Vikings, this one I honestly thought, because they met before, Packers blew them out. I honestly thought this was going to be one of those situations where it's just going to be a blowout. And I honestly thought that, it wasn't going to be a matchup. And then they came out and they were a little flat. Packers never really had a defense. They hadn't had a defense for years. I think we've seen that in a few games last year with Chargers and the 49ers. Their defense has really been non-existent. You have Aaron Rodgers, you have Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, and you have other surrounding weapons, if you want to call them weapons or role players around.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is that the difference between Tom Brady's career and Aaron Rodgers' career?
I think
had a defense.
But also I think Tom had the better coach. Because he's had McCarthy his whole year, essentially, and he has a new coach these past 2 years. But, when you have a better coach, he's able to put things together, and he studies you, and he finds out what you do best, and he takes that out, and he just makes you beat him in other ways.
Well, that's a defensive-minded coach, though, too. Whereas Aaron Rodgers has always had an offensive guy, never really had a defense. And with the Packers, or with the Patriots, excuse me, you have Belichick, who's one of those just a defensive savant, if you will. Yeah. But you also have always had an offensive coordinator who is a creative genius.
Ali, what's up? Yeah.
So
I don't know. I just look at and Brady's also too had, when you look at Gronk, Rodgers never had anybody like Gronk.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham for a little bit.
Jimmy Graham, who was the first team Jimmy played for?
Shout out to the U. The Saints, he won a Super Bowl. Don't do that.
No. The first team Jimmy played for.
Who he played for before the Saints?
It was, I'm drawing a blank. Was it the Saints? It was the Saints. It was the Saints. Okay, yeah, you're right. But after that, he's bounced around to like 5 different teams, and Jimmy's just been non-existent.
He did bounce around.
He even played. Anyway,
he's on the Bears now.
Yeah. So I mean, Jimmy is, but Jimmy and Gronk, can we compare the two? On top of that with running game, I think they've always interchanged a ton of different running backs back there. You got James White, you got Burkhead. He's always had these backs that all are, and that's one thing I hated about fantasy. Whenever I had one of their running backs in fantasy, they'll mess around and play Bolden.
Yeah.
They'll play Bolden the whole game, and you got James White or you have somebody else. So,
but you could also
LeGarrette Blount is another one too. Like
you can also argue that Aaron Rodgers has had the better back though. They do it by committee in New England, but
go away.
Oh man, we made a pact. If we don't talk about the Cowboys, we don't have to talk about that Chargers game.
I was gonna leave that for later, man. What is Stephen A. start? I am having a very, very bad day.
That's me every Monday this season.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the Bears game. One of the highlights of the Bears game was, by the way, I can't, before just going back to the Packers, like Dalvin Cook with 4 touchdowns. I mean, he went just stupid on the whole team. But Packers don't have a defense, so and I just think they came out a little flat. They just weren't necessarily, they didn't prepare as they should.
There was one time in the game where Devontae Adams had like 3 touchdowns. He had all the touchdowns for the Packers. And the running back for the Vikings had all 8 points. So it was literally just them two going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. So, I mean, and Packers, they have games like this where they get blown out and they turn around and they kill a team.
I'm the fan of a loss. I'm a fan of a loss for a first place team.
You know, as you don't have to play, you can leave the league if you want, both leagues, so you don't have to play. But love you, buddy. Remember S when he was on, he just kept rambling and rambling. You left and went to the bathroom, and you went out to your car, and you came back, and he was rambling. Like he's just.
I didn't go to the car. That's why he's.
I need to start
being honest.
I need to start doing a better job of hanging up on people.
You try to hang up on AJ when he starts on.
Yeah, because he ain't no Steelers fan. Like that's just I've never heard him mention Steelers one time. Now if he said Saints, okay, cool, we can talk about it. So now we'll go ahead and get into the Bears and the Saints. I know we saw that fight was one of the biggest highlights of the game, and you had showed me a clip. Mm-hmm. So what did he do before?
So apparently this cornerback has a history of snatching people's mouthpiece off of their face mask. Mm-hmm. Like if they get into it and you have one of the mouthpieces at hand, a lot of people have the mouthpieces that you just put in the top of your helmet. It doesn't have the little string attached to the face mask. But apparently a lot of receivers do have it. And if they get into it, he walk up and snatch it. And he did that to this guy apparently in the game, and that must have been his favorite mouthpiece ever. That was his lucky mouthpiece apparently. Mm-hmm. And he didn't like it very much. And now he's going to be not an NFL player anymore. I was trying to think of a career, but everybody who has a job should be thankful for it.
And that's the thing too. It's like if I got a problem with you, I'm gonna try to tackle you or hit you as hard as I can or something.
There are so many ways.
I'm not about to sit here and punch you and mess up my hand trying to punch you as hard as I can, hitting the face mask. Like that's just not.
You guys are playing football. You get to hit him.
Yes,
just
it's
in between
legal.
The whistles. Yeah,
it's legal.
In between the whistles.
I mean, now with the rules are a lot different nowadays because you can't hit as hard or helmet to helmet all that stuff.
He's a receiver. He's protected. He's not going to get in trouble for going in. Even if it's a cheap shot block, he'll get a 15-yard penalty and that's it.
Take his knee out or something. Make him feel it that way, and you get ejected and fined, and boom, it's done.
I'm glad he didn't take his knee out. That's really dirty. Hit me in the face mask. Don't.
Hey, if you wanted to. I mean, that's the thing. You trying to hit somebody in the face mask. I mean.
No, that would have been smarter on his.
Exactly.
But if I'm the defender, I'm glad he did that and not take my knee out.
Yeah. Overall, looking at the game,
but he'll never be in the NFL again. I'm surprised if he makes it to practice tomorrow.
He'll definitely get suspended. Well, he'll get suspended indefinitely for a while.
He'll get cut. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the reason of having you're number 86 or whatever number you are? Like, we don't even know who you are. Why would you do this? This is career
83, something like that. Yeah.
Even at 83.
Yeah.
Let's call it 83.
Nick Foles has flashes of being...
I think he's Carson Wentz.
A decent quarterback. And other times we're like, who is this guy? Like, who is he? So it's just like, I honestly don't feel that he's a quarterback that is, and even with Jacksonville, he looked horrible with Jacksonville, and looking back at the Eagles, it seems like if they wanted him to be the guy, he wouldn't, I don't think he'd do any better than what Carson's doing right now. Mm-mm. But, I mean,
But I also don't think he'd be doing any worse.
And he is better than Mitch. I will give him that. Mitch is a horrible quarterback. So Mitch is definitely.
You think Mitch is a horrible quarterback?
Mitch Trubisky is not a great quarterback whatsoever.
Well, you go horrible and great is a huge gap.
Well, I'm not trying to call by any means Nick Foles great because I mean he won. He's gonna be great in Philly forever because he won up to the championship. But yeah. Anyways, we got Champ joining us now. He's gonna be the one to settle this debate. So what's going on, Champ? How you doing?
Not bad, man. How about you guys?
Hey, we
doing well, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, you got it. Thanks for having me. So we're talking Trubisky and Foles?
We're talking some Bears football, man. Trubisky and Foles. So
and number 83. We're gonna get to him too.
Okay.
So I'll ask you this: if you could pick whoever player you wanted to start, Trubisky or Foles, who you want in there?
It's Foles, man. And today I've seen some nuggets where, and listen, both of them are bad, right? So
I agree.
Foles has them in each of the completion percentage. Foles got him by a few percent. Yards per attempt, Foles got him by a few yards. The list goes on and on. I've seen several statistics, and Foles is a little bit better in everything, but that's the problem. he's just a little bit better than Trubisky.
Yeah. And that was my thing is I don't like when we're comparing the two. I don't think that Foles. I think Foles probably has more of an upside than Trubisky, but I also think Foles. Well, you see Trubisky throw the costly pick too, so it's not even. I was gonna say Trubisky's probably a little more safe with the ball, but he has
his turnovers
too.
Yeah, for sure. And watching the game yesterday, there were a couple times where obviously Foles isn't the athletic type. It's like a Trubisky. So there were a couple plays where he was just hugging the line of scrimmage and eyes downfield, which is what you want from a quarterback. But hell, he could have picked up a first. If it was Trubisky, with his athleticism, because the kid can rock and roll and scramble. I mean, he can do that, and he's good at it. But there were a couple times where he could have made some first downs with his feet, and instead he either throw it away or take a sack. Throwing it away is fine, but on the third down, you're punting the ball away. But going to the game yesterday real quick with Foles, we'll fast forward to overtime. We held Saints, so they punted the ball to us. Foles hit Anthony Miller on a 7-yard out.
Another Anthony Miller reference.
Okay, so now it's 2nd and 10. Then there was a little 6-yard curl route by Jimmy Graham and hit him right in the hand, and he dropped. So now we're 3rd and 6, and then I forget what the next play was, but it wasn't enough, and we punted the ball away and lost, man. So it's just as a whole, I know we're 5-3, but
I was getting ready to get into that. So you guys are 5-3. You're sitting actually pretty decent in the division now. That loss by the Packers definitely helped you guys out. So I mean, you know your team best. You know your team isn't really a good team, but your record shows otherwise. So looking into the future, I mean, do you guys see yourself possibly pulling it out and winning the division, realistically?
Well, so I think we're about to get spanked by the Titans. I really do.
They're pissed off after that loss.
Who is it?
The Titans.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I'm talking about. That we got the. I mean, it was last week. We got. Oh my gosh, I'm throwing a blank. Who the hell did we lose to last week? I'm throwing a blank, but then we just lost, and then next week's the Titans. So it's just like, man, we're about to go 0-3, and when we were starting that little 3-game set right there, we were 5-1. So I was feeling really good.
That was the Rams.
The Rams.
And I was, and then all of a sudden, dude, you seen Matt Nagy's flaws, you seen Nick Foles' flaws, you seen our offensive line flaws, and.
Hey, it was a Rams you guys lost to, and I bet you guys would have loved to see the Rams that played against Miami yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Right there, I really don't see us beating the Titans. So we're about to, real quick from 5-1. I think we're real quick going to be 5-4. So
yeah. So and that's the thing, especially with the Titans coming off of that loss against yesterday against the Bengals. I mean, that was one of the biggest upsets too. So it's just like when Rodgers comes off a bad loss, he'll come out next week and he'll just murder your team. So I think Derrick Henry messes around and runs for minimum 200 yards on that offense. So
exactly. And you can't say the same about my Bears. You say that about the Titans. Hey, they're coming off a loss. They're pissed. The Bears are coming off of 2 losses, two losses that sting, man. But you can't say that about us. We're about to get ran again.
And that's the thing, really, with the Saints. The Saints really aren't a great team this year. And I think with Michael Thomas has been in and out of lineup, I think he was going to come back, and there was rumors about him potentially getting traded. So all that shut down. Michael Thomas, yeah.
That would be crazy.
So all that shut down. But I mean, they're not a great team. But look at them. They won 4 straight, so they're kind of flying under the radar in the NFC South. And I think everybody's looking at how well the Bucks are playing, but. I mean, everything around this time, everything is really shaping up to where we're starting to see teams take off in the division, or they're kind of falling into the middle of the division, or creeping into last place.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't believe the Vikings beat the Pats, man. I mean, I thought I'd seen the Packers I seen them kicking them. So, but still, I don't trust us. So we got the Titans. I think we'll be 5-4. Then we got the Vikings. That was a toss-up, man. I don't trust the Vikings at all. I'm not a big fan of Mike Zimmer, and I'm definitely not a fan of Kirk Cousins. So, but then we got the Pats. We're going to lose there, so we could possibly beat the Vikings. I think we'll beat them, but still, man. I mean, I'm thinking, honestly, I'm looking at it right now. I see us going 9-6, man. I see us winning 4 more, but I see us losing, 6 more. So that's just the way it is.
Okay.
The Bears right now.
And before we let you go, I need your MVP prediction for the year, and then with no bias in this, I need to hear your Super Bowl prediction with us finishing out Week 8.
Okay, Nick Foles is an MVP. No.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You know who I love to see, honestly, man, and it's been brought up big time. I would love to see Russell win MVP.
Yeah.
I really would. And the guy's having a phenomenal year. The way he just drops them long bombs, I mean, like in a bucket, man, the straight dimes to either Lockett or DK Metcalf. So I like to see Russ.
Okay.
Super Bowl predictions. The guy that we should have had, Patty Mahomes. Let's go Chiefs. Let's go Chiefs Bucks, man. What would be better than seeing Mahomes versus Brady in the Super Bowl? That'd be great.
And I think that might have been my prediction too. I think it was. I got to go back and listen. I'm pretty sure it is. But as we know, it's in Tampa, so I think we're gonna now see for the first time. Well, I don't know if it's for the first time or whatever, but
first time in a long time.
Yeah, a team actually hosts a Super Bowl. So, but we'll see, man. But other than that, champ, we appreciate you for joining, and we'll be talking soon, man.
All right, that sounds good, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right,
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Huge Bears fan, and I know he has to be shocked about. Oh, what's up? What you got?
No, I was just going to touch on that. Only 2 teams have hosted Super Bowl in their home stadium. The 49ers in Super Bowl 29. Is that 29 or 19? I don't know these Roman numerals. And then the Rams. So that would be, this will be the 3rd time. That's pretty dope, though.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I know they have one in Dallas set up again, I think.
Oh, maybe we'll get some help.
Kerms, what's up, man? Dre, what's up?
Sierra's husband, MVP.
Yeah. And that's one thing too. I think because they had a loss last week. I forget who they
what are you talking about?
Was it the division?
Yeah.
The Seahawks.
They had a bye last week.
They had a bye, yeah, and so they ended up beating.
Oh no, they didn't have a bye last week. That's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they lost. I know they lost. They lost last week.
To the Cardinals.
Yeah. So, really, without in that game. By the way, Kittle, he's going to be done for a while. Jimmy G's going to be done for a while. So the 49ers, the injuries just continue to.
I feel like this is a Bay Area thing. I feel like they got the same. They got the same thing going on right now that Steph Curry had. Mm-hmm. That Draymond Green had. Like, Draymond Green wasn't really hurt, but Kittle's like, I'm not about to be out here getting beat up.
He did get banged up. And I saw that
too.
play.
Jimmy G walked to he was down by 30 and just walked off the field.
Yeah, he wasn't coming back. I think he was okay to come back, and I think the MRI came back. But yeah, so both of them are going to be done for a little bit. So, but one thing about the Seahawks, going on the Seahawks and the Niners, Metcalf, 12 catches, 169 yards. I mean, just seeing that dude in his wheels. I mean, freaking nature, like 6'3", 6'4". It looks like he's 300 pounds running at you. I mean, the dude is a monster. And then it's crazy because
he runs a 4.3.
Yeah. And it's like, but you got him on one side, and you got Tyler Lockett, a dude that's a little bit taller than me, probably 160 soaking wet. And like that's what they do it with. Their running backs have been in and out the lineup. Chris Carson didn't play last week, and I think his backup was hurt, so they had like a third stringer play. So
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said he might be top 2. Who's better than him right now?
D-Hop.
You think D-Hop is better?
D-Hop is, and then, but here's the thing, and then Julio, and I'm so glad they asked him on Thursday Night Football. It was like, Julio, do you still think you're the best receiver in the league? He said, of course. You
He's
know?
supposed to say that. That's why I don't understand why everybody got mad at LeBron when he said he was the best. That's what you're supposed to think as an athlete at this level. You're not supposed to think anybody's better than you.
They didn't want him to be cocky, even though he already knew he was.
That's
the
not
best,
cocky. That's what you have to have some level of confidence.
Oh, I think so, because he was the one that came out and just said, "Oh yeah, I'm the best in the world." This and that, blah blah blah. When Julio was asked the question on Thursday, and it's like, "Hey, do you feel like you're the best?"
Listen.
So
that's the right answer in both cases. I don't care if it wasn't a question asked. But this is my thing. Give me DK Metcalf right now with Russell Wilson. That's what you gotta. I'm taking him with Russell Wilson over D Hop with Kyler Murray. That's what I'm taking right now.
Well, you doing as far as comparison with the?
No, I'm just saying. I think that's why he's better, because the guy throwing to him is better. Is what I think.
Yeah, but I mean, just look at what he does too. And then Tyreek Hill, I think sometimes he flies under the radar because he's looked at more so of it as he's a wide receiver, but he's great on special teams. So he's another one that could be up there in the conversation. I personally still think Odell. Hopefully next year he goes to a team that has a better quarterback than Baker. And then they took a loss against, I believe it was like the Raiders, which, I mean, you got to beat the team like the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders aren't great.
The Raiders are all right, though.
No, they're not.
But I'll say this, too. You brought up OBJ.
Yeah.
It made me mad and frustrated a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Juice. What's my boy's name? The other receiver on the Browns. His best friend, Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry made a one-hand catch, and they said it was an Odell-like catch. And
Jarvis been doing that.
I'm sitting here looking at this like
LSU.
Jarvis got probably way more one-handed catches than Odell Beckham.
But Odell's just flashy. And
Odell had the one catch against the Cowboys.
That's what put him on the map.
But Jarvis Landry has tons of one-handed catches and doesn't routinely. Yeah. And I was like, what are these guys talking about? Like this is a Jarvis Landry type catch. This isn't an Odell type catch.
They've been doing that since LSU.
And he's been getting you 100 catch seasons since he's been out.
And I'm about to be the Segway King right now. Even in Miami, he was doing that. So it's like, but people don't watch Miami too much just because you had horrible quarterbacks and you didn't have great ball play in Miami.
But he was still catching 100 balls a year.
He was.
He's a problem.
He was. So on to Miami and the Rams.
Segue.
Tua gets his.
I see what you did there. You announced it though. It's kind of.
Well, yeah. I gotta let you know it's coming. So you don't keep elaborating on that because I'm trying to, Okay. It's better than me saying transitioning to. Remember them days? I think it was like Austin or somebody was like, "What's saying transitioning?" All right, so Miami and the Rams. Tua gets his first win. It wasn't pretty, but it wasn't pretty.
Oh,
hey, he didn't have no picks.
He didn't throw the ball.
Yeah, he did. He had.
Did he have 100 yards?
93. It doesn't matter, but he got a touchdown. He didn't. Here's the thing: Tua could have lost that game. I honestly think Fitzpatrick would have lost that game if he was in. Somehow found a way to throw interceptions or pick sixes or whatever.
The Rams weren't gonna let him lose that game.
Man.
The Rams. You talk about the Ravens giving the game away. The Rams gave this to them.
It was done. So they actually scored passing, a rushing touchdown, special teams, and defense. So it was a job all around. And I mean, Tua didn't have to do much, but.
No, wait. Let's add something else in there. The one touchdown drive, the 30-yard touchdown drive that he did have when he threw a touchdown pass was also off of a sack fumble turnover by the defense.
He still got the W.
But I'm just saying, like it wasn't like he had an 80-yard touchdown drive.
I'm not trying to say that he did that, but I'm just saying. But it was. But also too, when you look at games like this was a game that West Coast team traveled all the way to the East Coast. And it was an early game, so those games are always a little bit harder. I
gotta stop betting on those games.
Whenever you do travel,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
It's never, and even when East Coast teams travel to West Coast and play certain teams, that the time difference is kind of just.
Was it raining too out there?
No, it was good. I think the weather was fine. Yeah.
Oh.
So
I was trying to give LA some. Oh, they were celebrating the Dodgers win, the Dodgers World Series. They had a little. World Series hangover, that's
probably what it is.
Because LA, the LA teams after winning both those championships, they've been so good.
So we'll go through these teams real quick, and then I want to get to my Chargers, and then we'll go ahead and hop into Lance. So Phillip Rivers quietly has been flying under the radar with not having horrible games. They're second in the division right now at 5 and tied for first place essentially with the Titans with that bad loss yesterday. What?
You flipping through these papers?
I am flipping through these pages, man, because I like this.
We could get him a tablet or something.
I like having it. Everybody always think we're sponsored by Apple with all these Apple devices. But
Apple, get us another tablet, man.
They got another event that's going on in next week. So we're gonna see what they got going on with that. But yeah, Rivers playing decent with 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow actually had a decent game against Tennessee. I'm busy right now. Cam Newton, I don't know how long it's gonna last, man. Cam is with another crucial fumble. He needs to hold the ball a little bit better. I mean, it's not two big fumbles, and Josh Allen didn't have a great game, but he's definitely not playing like MVP Josh Allen. So I never bought into that. Everybody was trying to say he's top 3, this and that. No, Allen is not getting it. So
I don't think he's getting MVP. I think he was having a pretty good year. But I'll also say this: Cam is going to be the quarterback for the Patriots at least the rest of the year. Like, he might not be there next year.
He definitely won't.
I mean, you gotta bring somebody in too.
But it's crazy because, and that's the thing. I think they'll trade or draft or get somebody. But when he was out for that COVID game, he had played great up until that point. But it was crazy.
He played well. They still weren't looking.
He played pretty good.
Yeah.
They were 2-1. I think they lost against the Seahawks in a Sunday Night Football game. I do remember that. But they only have 3 passing touchdowns all year, which is crazy. So that's one thing that
he's also down his top 2 receivers.
He don't have any weapons, and now Edelman's out for at least 4 or 5 weeks, like minimum. So
I think the other one's name is Harry. Last name Harry.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's tough. It's tough, and he's not like Cam was good, but he was never Tom Brady. So he's not like we're not.
Well, they're 2 different. They're 2 different quarterbacks. I think we can agree on that. But Cam's. They're definitely opening up the playbook more with Cam, but they're also not implementing certain plays, throwing plays that they probably would, if they had Brady. So, So, all right, on to my Chargers. I got to get something off my chest real quick.
Can I take a bathroom break?
Sure, if you want to. We're the only team in history that gave up. I think it was 3 straight, and our 3 straight losses. We were up by like 17 points. And then turn around and lose. No, like 3 straight games. 3 straight games that we lost. So I think we're the only team in history that does that. But offense hadn't been playing great, but I think we can get the job done. We can score. We can do what we have to do. Herbert is going to be the future. He's a rookie. He's still going to make mistakes. He had a bad pick 6 the first drive, but there was a play too there was a drive where we were on the 25-30 and it was 4th and 2. We could have kicked the field goal, but Anthony Lynn wanted to go for it and we didn't.
Y'all didn't get it?
No. So those 3 points would have came in handy towards the end of the game.
Because didn't y'all lose by 3?
So we lost by 1.
Oh, on the touchdown.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I mean, it's. And the defense too. I mean, and Bosa, he's in concussion protocol. Derwin James has been out. Melvin Ingram's been in and out the lineup. We just traded one of our corners for a 6th-round pick. I mean, I don't know what is going on right now, but it's definitely it's just frustrating. And I've never wanted a coach to. I don't want anybody to lose their job. I don't want anybody to, be in that position of not having a job. But if we want to get this ball rolling with this young quarterback and get this 2nd and 3rd year to have him progressing and have this offense progressing, Anthony Lynn is not the guy. Our defense, we have name-wise, we have the names to be an elite defense, but it seems like offenses are making adjustments and we aren't. Look back at the playoffs when, I don't even know what Dre said, but look back at the playoffs last year. We tried to outsmart Bill Belichick and bring in the same defense that we did in the wild card against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And they adjusted, the Patriots did, and we didn't. So here we are again. I just think that we need to clean house with these coaching staff. We have the players to do it. We're in LA. We're in this beautiful new stadium. Next year, hopefully, we all have a bunch of fans. So I don't know. We just got to get something figured out. We have to. It needs to be quick. I don't want to.
Yeah, y'all need to go back to San Diego.
Well, that first. But so that's really all I got to say about that. But new coach definitely needs to happen. So all right. Now I'll talk about my team. You talk about your team.
Well, I ain't got nothing to talk about. Hey, I do appreciate the Eagles scoring at the end of the first quarter. I had a first quarter bet going, so
there you go.
I needed that over. I appreciate that. And after we did that, I will say something about that game. The Eagles are going to win the division, but they trash.
Yeah. It's not going to be pretty. And that's the thing. I said that last week. They're going to lose wild card weekend. And it's crazy because it's always the best team. So they're either going to go up against Seattle or Arizona.
And what's funny is the top two teams don't have a bye this year. So the team that they wouldn't be playing, they would be playing a 3 seed.
I told you I don't like.
I like it. They get to whoop on the Eagles even worse.
Just leave it. Just leave it. So, is he ready?
I told him to hit you up, so he should be calling pretty soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bad game. I think I watched the second quarter, and then I was like, man, this is stupid.
VA?
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce your man.
All right, so right now we got Lance calling in, man. Lance is, what can I say about Lance? Helix High School, Palm Middle School, Lemon Grove Rec. I'm going to throw Santa Barbara in there. We'll talk about that. San Bernardino Valley, University of Miami, D-League, G-League, Australia, ABL. And one of my brothers, somebody I consider, blood couldn't make us no closer. So shout out to Lance Hurdle. Appreciate you joining us, bro.
Welcome.
I appreciate y'all, bro. I love what y'all doing, man.
Absolutely. Oh, whoa. I left one thing off the list, too. Entrepreneur, Excel Basketball Academy.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, man. I just finished up the session now.
Nice. So before we get into anything else, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your basketball academy, bro.
So Excel, I noticed one thing that, growing up, all the elite athletes, they get everything free. They get the elite training, they get the free gear. But the biggest market out there is the kids that just want to play, probably not that good, just need a little bit more attention, a little bit more TLC. So I figured, hey, why don't we give those kids what they need, give them the same elite training. I really don't care if they make the team, but let them have fun, especially with all the stuff that's going on now with the social media. They're seeing a lot of things that we didn't see growing up. And they're dealing with a lot more, not to minimize what we went through growing up, but they're seeing a whole lot more mentally. So just to keep them engaged for an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long the session is, and just keep it fun, But what we do is provide basic training, because most of these kids are very talented, but their skills are thus far. Like, they can't dribble with their left, they can't go, they want to fillet everything. But, you know what I'm saying? I love it, but they don't know the basics, so we give that, but we keep it fun for them.
Right. Okay. Well, that's what's up. And you in Virginia now, right?
Yeah, Virginia. So I met a guy out here who owns a few businesses, and he went to Duke. So that's how we met, like the ACC connection. And then I told him I had a passion to do a mentorship program through basketball and bring together with life skills. And he was like, I have the same thing, so let's do it. And I just said, why not? When the pandemic hit, I said, hey, it's the perfect time, so let's do it. We've been doing it since August.
That's what's up. Well, congrats on that, bro. And you know me, I hate Duke, being a North Carolina guy, but I love that y'all coming together. And you talked about the ACC, man. So we had Lorenzo on here last week, right?
Last week, yeah.
And you guys kind of had similar paths. well, a little bit different paths, but you guys went 4-year, obviously D1 right out of high school, and then both ended up transferring. He was telling us he didn't even actually visit San Diego State or Louisville before he went there. So tell me about how that experience was for you, as far as picking. You ended up at University of Miami. How did you end up getting there, bro? What I mean, I know I was there, but also we was roommates in San Bernardino.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you, I was just thinking about that the other day, and first of all, I said that I'm telling you, big bro Marlon, that's family. You know what I'm saying? Like when I went to Palm 6 later, he was like, "Nah, let him play." And that's how I got on. The same thing with San Bernardino. So I was going to quit ball because I had just left UC Santa Barbara. I had a terrible year. I was just frustrated. Then I went to San Bernardino, and the first day I got there, Coach Phil Matthews, who recruited me, was like, "Yo, I'm leaving in Nebraska. So what you going to do?" I said, "What you mean? What I'm going to do? I came here
Because of you, yeah."
Yeah, so he was like, "Well, if you're good enough, I'll recruit you." I said, "If I'm good enough," I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" So I was down. But, what kept me going was, Big Bro would take me to the open run at Cal State Bernardino, and they kept that passion going. So what happened was I was having an up and down year that first half of the season at San Bernardino Valley. I would have 20, and then I had 2, and I'm like, yo, this ain't it. And then, kept going to the open runs, with Big Bro, and I said, I'm going to just have fun and stop stressing. So I wrote. I was like, I would love. I told Big Bro, I said, let's go to Miami for spring break. So Big Bro was like, yeah, I'm with it. Like, yeah, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? How we gonna do that? I'm still hooping, but I was just talking.
Right.
I don't know where it was coming from. So the Big Bro and I, we came out. Like we went to Carl's Jr. one night, and we were driving home. And I was like, bro, what's 512 number they calling me? He was like, Texas. I was like, oh, that might be Texas A&M because Coach did say they was interested.
Yeah.
I'm to find out with the University of Miami. So I went in the living room. I was like, bro, it's University of Miami. I said, but let me not get hyped. It might be Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
He looked at the TV, and he looked at me and said, bro, whatever Miami is, you got to answer that phone.
Right.
So then it was Coach Schwartz, my guy, who's at Tennessee under Rick Barnes now, but it was him saying, hey, we interested, and 2 weeks later I committed. I actually committed the day I left an unofficial of Pepperdine, and it was love, man. So
that's what's up.
Miami.
Yeah, that's dope. I don't know. We didn't get to do a lot of college basketball because of the pandemic this past year or so.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge North Carolina fan, and it was I think 3 or 4 times I had to root against him, and it was only because Lil Bro had on that Miami jersey.
Yeah,
but.
Right,
I mean, I remember watching you give Greg Paulus and them 20. You gave North Carolina Fitz. Or what was the? You was there when what's his name was there? Who was the guard at Duke? Was it Paulus? Was that the one?
Yeah, it was Paulus, Shire, Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith was there. Yeah.
The Marcus Nelson was there my junior year, his senior year.
Yeah. So you had some wars.
I had some wars, bro. They was tough.
So I do got one more question about basketball, and then I'll let Marlon jump in if he got any questions. I know you was in Australia for a few years. Tell me what that was like, what that pro life was like over there, and how it went for you.
I loved it, bro. My first year there, I was in the NBL. That's when I tore my ACL. But other than that, man, I tore my ACL, took a couple years off, and then went back over there. They show love, man. They really love the Americans that come over there and play. I had fun. Coaches let you rock out. They let you do your thing, but if you don't do your thing, they take you back on that flight back to the crib. So.
Right.
But I had a great time. I did a few commercials over there. It was love, bro.
I remember won a dunk contest or 2.
Yeah, I got robbed on one dunk contest because dude hung on the rim playing to the crowd, but I'm not hating. I'm not hating at all. He won fair and square, but I think
So I'm gonna take this back to high school. So looking at your high school, you obviously were just one of the best players that ever put on a Helix, high uniform.
Facts.
So just looking at the competition, who was one of the the toughest teams that you ever had to play, and where was always one of the toughest places to play?
He knows.
That's easy stuff.
Hey, he fishing for an answer
Well,
right
what
now.
you mean? What do you mean? Hey, I'm just asking, man. I'm just asking. You know. Go ahead.
I'm gonna keep it a thing. Still Canyon, I never had a good game against them. Richie and Raymond, they the bros, but I couldn't stand playing against them. My sophomore year, Raymond got the big bait, and Richard just go body, right? So
Yeah.
My sophomore year, Raymond's freshman year, Raymond and Richie Pop sitting in the front, and he was like, "Yo, give it to him." I'm like, "Yo, Ray, chill." I'm like, go. So Coach Singer's like, "Yo, get out." And I'm like, "Yo, y'all both gotta chill." I must have tried to press up on Ray. He hit me with the big thing swing. It was a wrap. I heard that for weeks in the locker room. And then junior year was kind of a blur. They, you know what I'm saying? I don't remember. That was your senior year, bro. But our senior year, I mean, Ricky did his thing. I mean, I never had a good game against them. They were just tough.
I'm with you on that. I remember because it was my senior year, so we lost to them at Steel Canyon, but I think we beat them at home. But I talked about this on here before too. I was like 0 for 6 shooting at Steel Canyon. I airball. The crowd starts going crazy. Airball. I hit my next shot. I look to the crowd. I got 2 points. I look to the crowd. I shoot the crowd, and then I airball the next shot.
I do remember that.
Hey, and it was. I hated that gym too. It was so weird. Like playing in a real gym like Helix, and then some of the other gyms around.
What do you mean a real gym?
And then going to that gym where they only had bleachers on one side, like it was a elementary school or something.
On the other side, but that was just
Y'all never had enough fans for that. That's the problem. Y'all didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we did.
It was just a student section, and I feel like y'all games was like right after school, so kids couldn't go home. Like it was a 7th period or something.
You still mad about it?
Hey, that era, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
I never had a crowd do me like that.
Right.
So now,
bad when we lost the second time. So we played my senior year. We played at Steel Canyon, and then my senior year. Well, the second time we played senior, we could have tried for the conference chip. I don't know why they. I don't know. Somebody said something. I'm like, "Yo, Richie, Brandon, bro, I didn't say nothing. We bros, still."
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Coach Singer looked out. He had Lawrence, little bro Lawrence.
Yeah.
Town Garden. So I could throw an offense. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Look, but I mean, they went to give me 6 on defense. I'm like, Richie, he'll sub out Raymond. I'm like, damn, and then West. I'm like,
West, yeah.
They was all picking up full court too. That was the one thing is, like when me and Lance and we had Eric too. Like we could all handle the ball, so it was a little bit different against that press. But if you didn't have like multiple people in there that could handle them two up in you, it was a problem, boy. Them little dudes was fast.
Yeah.
Not was, they still fast to this day.
Yeah.
But they prepared me, right? Because up until that point, I ain't never really seen pressure like that unless you in practice against Big Bro, Eric, and them. But it prepared me. So when I went up to college, I'm like, I mean, they ain't Richie or Raymond fast. Like, I would break this place.
No, that's real though, bro, because I had the same thing. I played with Nate Reed and Michael Kinwa at Cuyamaca and JUCO, and I had to practice against them two every day. And I'm a bigger guard. I always say this, like playing against Richie and Raymond, I hated it. But Mike and Nate was the same way. Like every day in practice, they picking me up. I'm like, bro, it's Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday, bro. We don't play till Saturday. Leave me alone.
Right.
But it prepares you, man, for that next level. That's absolutely right. I'm glad you said that. That's dope. But bro, I do gotta ask a question since it's football season, man. How you feel? I know, it's a year for us right now.
Oh, he's a Cowboys fan too?
Hey man, don't say it like that.
I'm a Cowboy fan.
Well, we got the same amount of wins, I think. So, but I mean, well, here's the thing, I'm gonna just ask you this since we weren't really gonna talk Cowboys too much, but you brought it up. So,
yeah,
does Dak get a contract after everything that we've seen? And if so, how much do you think they're willing to give him because I know he was saying how he wanted however many, he wanted to be pretty much close to the highest paid.
Right.
Do you at least give him half of what he wanted? Do you give him close to what he wanted? What are you thinking?
I'm giving everything you want, bro.
Facts.
I'm giving everything you want. After Dalton came in, couldn't get it done. The new G, Lucci, whatever his name is.
Lucci Lou.
Salute, but we need that. It just shows you, like, this is a blessing for him because it's really showing how valuable I think he is to the Cowboys, even without that line.
Yep.
And it's like, yo, if you ain't got Dak behind there, you know what I'm saying, the team looks totally different. So I think give it to him. Why not? I mean, the other quarterbacks they got it ain't doing, they nice, but.
Right, and Dalton was the insurance policy. Dalton was the in case he holds out, in case he gets hurt policy. And you see what that does.
I will say I think the offense is geared more towards what Dak does. I think the issues are the defense because you can't stop anybody. You're going to have to play catch-up every day, and now that doesn't allow you to get into your offense and let Zeke work. I mean, that's your $90 million man, and he's blocking half the time, so or going out for out routes and stuff. So, you know, I think give him the contract and get that defense addressed, and honestly, I think you guys will be all right.
The defense actually played a little bit better in the first half yesterday.
First half, and then they win.
They played better. I mean, they made tackles. They got to third downs and made plays. Maybe it was how bad Carson Wentz is. We talked about that. Yeah. But they looked like a different defense yesterday, at least for the first half. Again, I know we lost by like 20, so I didn't see the second half. But
yeah, man,
yeah, we don't have to harp on that too much, bro. We don't have to talk about that.
I like it here.
No. Hey, man, these LA Charger fans, bro.
Hey, man, hey.
With 619 numbers, I don't know how to talk to them.
Don't disrespect me like that.
I know how that works.
Don't disrespect me like that.
Yeah. Hey, but bro, I'm gonna hit you, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, man, sharing some stories with us, and we're gonna have you back on too. But we about to wrap it up. I know it's pushing 10 o'clock out there on the East Coast, huh?
Yeah, it's almost 10, but I appreciate it, man. I love listening to y'all, man. I don't get to listen live, but when I get some downtime and I'm chilling, I love what y'all doing, bro. So I appreciate y'all letting me be on the show, man. And y'all keep doing what y'all doing, bro. I'm putting on for the town.
Appreciate
it, man. Appreciate it.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
All right.
Yeah, man. I'm with him though. You know, I've been saying Dak should get his money. I think this wasn't a blessing for Dak in disguise. Like, it's one of them blessings where you be like, man, don't bless me this way. But I think it's gonna work out for him. Hopefully, he comes back 100% or as close to as possible with technology and the doctors they got. I think.
Yeah. You never want to look at a situation like this and say this was a blessing for him,
right?
But also too, you have to look at it on the other side, and everything happens for a reason. You know, so eventually, I think he will, get his money. I don't know if they're willing to say, all right, we haven't even seen you play, but we're going to give you $5 million. 5 years for however $1 million you want. So it's going to be very.
That's okay. The Jets will, or somebody else will if the Cowboys don't.
Yeah.
And some teams need a quarterback,
and I like that. So. I don't necessarily want him to mess around and go to a team like that with no Le'Veon Bell. You got a bunch of, they're essentially rebuilding, and now you put Dak there and you expect a change.
Right, but look at these teams. Let's go through just up here. Who's going to need a quarterback? The Jets, we already said. The Colts will need a quarterback eventually.
Well, shoot, the Falcons too, because the Falcons were saying that they are already trying to move past.
The Falcons will need one. The Browns will need one. The Raiders,
Patriots.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I shuffle through my papers.
It's going to be some teams out here. The Bears don't have a lockdown quarterback. The Panthers, is Bridgewater really the guy? Like, there's a lot of teams out there that could use a quarterback who's throwing for 4,000, 5,000 yards.
Broncos. So yeah, and looking now with the Niners,
the Chargers.
Especially with the Niners, especially because now you got Jimmy G out. So I mean, they're definitely about to.
The Niners got to get rid of that contract, or they got to pay him. You can't keep him and sign somebody else because that's a waste.
They'll move him, but the bad part is nobody's going to want him when you got weapons like that. I mean, that a year ago, they were and there was a stat. There's always one team that made championship Sunday the year prior. Those 4 teams, one team doesn't make it. That's probably going to be the Niners.
Niners could still make the playoffs with that extra slot.
Well, no, they can make the playoffs. They're not making it back to Championship Sunday.
Oh no.
So, making the playoffs. Yeah, that's right, making the playoffs. Yeah, so they probably still could make it, but
it'll be a long shot. But they'll be in that 6-7 seed if they do, because I mean it depends on how the Cardinals finish up and the rest of the NFC.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it'll be interesting. Matt, Lance, good calls today.
Yeah.
What else?
I'm gonna go ahead and put you on the spot because I know you kind of wanted to talk about.
Spaghetti.
I know you want to talk about this, so I hope everybody early voted. Election day is tomorrow. If you were wondering why we are recording on a Monday, it was actually my call to record on a Monday. Marlon was like, "Let's go ahead and record on Wednesday so we could talk about the new president." And I was like, "I don't want to talk about."
I didn't say new president. I said president.
Well,
I don't know if it's going to be new or not.
Yeah. Regardless, new term, whatever.
I predict Super Bowls, not presidencies.
So yeah, I didn't necessarily want to come on here and talk about that, but yeah. So, but you got to say anything about anything while I go to the bathroom?
Rock the vote. Go vote, guys.
Yeah, get out there early because if you haven't voted, man, the polls are going to be.
I think it's going to be interesting, man. I don't know which way it's going to go. But I've been looking at some of these swing states in some states that are traditionally one way and how they're like moving closer to. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm not really into politics, but
yeah,
we'll see.
We're gonna see.
Neither one of them gonna help me in my life. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. But you almost at that 400,000 mark, so it could affect you.
Hey, man.
So
Hey, if I'll say this about the tax thing, if I made $400,000 a year. Tax me if it means that my mom isn't getting taxed as much. That's me personally. Mm-hmm. That's just for me, and that's not anything telling you anything about anything because I don't care about politics.
Yeah,
but
so we will see. Next week we'll go ahead and we may mention it. We won't be diving into no politics or anything like that. But,
we're gonna surprise you guys with a special guest.
Marlon's gonna surprise you guys.
46. Or 45 again.
Yeah. So we'll see. Subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Podcast. Really wherever you get your podcast. So we own everything. So yeah, appreciate
it. If you like looking at us, we on YouTube too. If you like looking at us.
Appreciate all the love. Alexa. Sorry. Appreciate all the love, all the support.
I was like, that's not your wife's voice.
Exactly. Marlon, what do you want? But yeah, we'll catch y'all next week. Go vote.
Yeah.
Peace.
We out.
He's